Hello there. Welcome to Billy Ho Sports. We're doing Churchill Downs Stephen Foster week. That's going to be this Saturday, the 29th of June. And big racing card. I've already put out the video for the free Stephen Foster preview. Today is going to be covering two races, one of which is the Fleur de Lis, Grade 2, and the other one is going to be the Kelly's Landing. So I'm going to be doing all six of the stakes races, and they're all going to go into a special playlist designated Stephen Foster Day or something to that effect. So just remember to, very importantly, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. That way you won't miss any of the action. Smash that like button while you're at it. Even set your notification bells so you'll have a little indicator when new content is coming out. And let's get underway. Okay, race 8 is first up. Fleur de Lis. Field of 6 will go 8.5 on the dirt. Fillies and mares, 4-year-old and up. Number 1 is going to be Free Like a Girl, and that's trained by Chassis Pommier. Corey Lannery is the jockey, I do believe. 5-year-old mare by El Deal. Second in the La Troyenne, third in the Apple Blossom. And won back-to-back races previous to that. A nice looking filly. She had an inside bid coming home in the slop, but then was no match for one of the number 1 female dirt horse in the country, Idiomatic. No shame in that. So going to be definitely interest there. Post number 2 is Shotgun Hottie, and that is trained by Sherry DeVoe, 5-year-old mare by Gunrunner. Ran away with the DuPont Stakes at Pimlico. Big 103 Brisnet number on that one. We'll look at past performances, so make sure you stick around for that. We're definitely doing past performances today since they're out, and we're going to make betting selections too, so that's another reason to hang out. She's going to be stepping up in class on this one, though. A couple of fourth-place finishes in the Grade 1, Grade 2 events. Finished behind Free Like a Girl in the Apple Blossom, just out of note. Post number 3 is Taxed. Randy Morris trained 4-year-old filly by Collected. Won a 100K optional claimer going a mile before that, 5th in the Apple Blossom. Speed figures don't really match up well in this one. She did win last year's Black Eyed Susan at this distance, so definitely a horse with capabilities. Post number 4 is Scylla, and that is 4-year-old filly by Tappet. Lots of talk about this one by Bill Mott, trained. And good form. Won the Grade 3 Shawnee on June 1st. Regular jock Javi Castellano is the rider. Ranked number 1 in prime power, as we'll see. Strong win contender here. The way she's won her last 2 out suggests distance, not a problem. Number 5 is Occult, and that's 4-year-old filly by Into Mischief, making her second start of 2024 after drifting out in the slop going 1.70 in the Serena Song Stakes at Monmouth. She broke well, had the lead into the stretch, then she drifted into a path of another horse, ended up being passed by Kathleen O, who won the race, then DQ'd down to third for that foul. Trained by Chad Brown, and Irad Ortiz is going to ride, so that one's probably going to have a lot of betting interest with that combination. Post number 6 is Kijira. That is a 4-year-old filly by Nyquist and trained by Philip Bauer, Julian Leperoux up. Bounced back after an awful run in the La Troyenne to place second behind Scylla in that Shawnee. She's going to need a leap forward, I think, to best the field here, but probably a pretty solid win contender. Let's look at the past performances and see if they tell us anything. I'm definitely giving a Free Like a Girl a shot in this race. You can see the rail post is winning at a 23% clip, 22% route race trainer. So some good trainer stats coming in off the layoff, should be fresh. Peaked at a 95 in the La Troyenne. And like I said, that was a really strong effort, I thought. beat outdoing a horse like Pretty Mischievous, then ran up against Flying, they ran third to these two, Adair Manor and Flying Connection. Those are two very strong fillies in this field, or not in this particular field, but in this division is what I meant to say. So 100 in the past, definitely a strong contender, third in prime power. So next up, Shotgun Hottie, the big 103 in the DuPont was impressive. A little bit, maybe just less. Number two in prime power. I'm not sure if the actual class ratings does get a good class rating, so just hasn't performed in the grade 3 and grade 2 events as probably up to expectations. But maybe she's finally hitting her stride after several starts. Is sired by Gunrunner, who is one of the leading sires of all time. And this is a really very high. Obviously, Gunrunner, you're gonna have this is sire production index, so that's like 3 times the national average of earnings by the progenies. So that's obviously due to Gunrunner's success as a sire. Next up is Taxed. You can see just the speed figures are a little bit lower than what you would want to see. This is what I look at also up here. We're looking for 99 speed, and this is early to late. These are the pars for this race. So that's what you look for when you look over here, EPLP. You can see the 95, 106, a little bit down in the late pace category, but definitely up there early. So Shotgun Hottie had really, really excellent numbers there. A 98 coming home. That's solid. But you can see Taxed here. Got a 100 late pace coming home. So that's good to know. And that's probably on par for a presser, so to speak. But the speed figure ultimately just a tick below 90 just seems to be in the poor route running, the poor trainer percentages, and the move up in class. So I probably won't go with Taxed in this one. But then when you got Scylla, who's got the 98 and the 99 and the big wins by open links in these last two, that she just controlled the race and ran the way she wanted to either way, took the lead early and took it home here. Then, just pressed a little more, then took the lead at the stretch and took it home. So just however she wants to get it done is what she'll do. So she's probably going to be my top choice. Occult is another one that I think is interesting. Second off the layoff, it's Chad Brown and Irad Ortiz hook up. She had really great form last season, as you can see in these grade 1 and grade 2s. So I think that she may be close. Exacta material. The move she put on down the stretch in the grade 2 Mother Goose last year looked like she could be very, very close. So if like her second second, it might be a mini layoff, but the second start of the 24 season is any indicator of an improvement, I'd say she's going to compete. And now Kijira was the one that won that Mother Goose. Kijira is a definitely a top contender. The inexplicable run in the La Troyenne, we're not really sure, came up empty in that. So if you just draw a line through this race and just exit out, you can see the rest of her performances. So I think she's going to be eligible to improve off this second place finish to Scylla. I don't know that she turns the tables on Scylla, but she's definitely going to give it her best shot. And this is the track bias. You can see that the early pressing speed definitely is more of an advantage. We should have a fast track. I think there might be some chances of some afternoon showers Saturday, but I don't know that it's going to affect track conditions. Just kind of be on the lookout for that. So let's finalize our selections. If you wanted to make a case against Scylla, she is making her fifth start in the last 3.5 months. That's probably your only argument to not put her on top. I think she wins again and then gets a break. Free Like a Girl, Kijira, and a Colt underneath. So just a quick reminder to subscribe to the channel. Really goes a long way to supporting and growing Billy Ho Sports. I certainly do appreciate that. And we're going to move on to the next race, which is race 10, Kelly's Landing. And that's 6.5 furlong sprint. Post number 1, Anarchist, 5-year-old, trained by Doug O'Neill, making his 24 debut off a 10-month layoff. Last race was a win in the grade 2 Pat O'Brien. Previously just lost to the chosen Vron by a head. Inside rail post is a huge plus here. He has the best total speed figures of the bunch, but will he be ready and fit to go? Number 2 is Spankster, 5-year-old, trained by Jade Cunningham. This one has very little stakes experience. Recent win on 5.5 on the turf. Off the turf, I'm sorry. It was good. The track condition was good. It was pulled off the turf. Impressive enough that the connections wanted to try this one. Really, actually watching that race, it was a really slick inside move. Sometimes it's really hard for a horse to maintain its straight down focus with that rail next to you, and you got a big 2 rivals on your right. So I thought that was kind of a very a good indicator of a poised horse. Post number 3 is Rivet. That's from the Steve Asmussen barn. 4-year-old colt. Tried him on the turf last out. Didn't take very well. I don't know if that was just a turf to dirt angle, as Asmussen can do from time to time. But back at Oaklawn Park, Keith Asmussen rode him, and I've had my nitpick, and I hopefully get well soon, Keith. He really is a good jockey quality, but I don't know if he fits every horse that he rides. And he's rode this horse well in a couple of grade 3s. But now well, the reason I say this, if you don't know, Keith Asmussen is very tall for a jockey. He's 5'10" and he weighs 125 pounds. So sometimes that's not always the best for a horse. I mean, he's carrying 20 extra pounds or maybe 15 extra pounds than most jockeys weigh already, but he does overcome that with his skill set. So Christian Torres is now a high percentage jockey. Could be a blessing. The turf to dirt might be a playable angle. Should get good value on Rivet for sure. Number 4 is Tejano Twist, trained by Chris Hartman. Got a nice 100 Brisnet speed figure, closing hard, 3rd place in the Aristides on June 1st at Churchill Downs. That's a big feature race in this one, obviously, because Skelly, who got off to a very slow break at huge, like 1 to 5 odds, was massive chalk. Would have probably won that race had he not got so far behind in the beginning and then burned up a lot of fuel. But closed the game sugar, ran a huge race. Take nothing away from him there. He's had a lot of close seconds and maybe the extra half. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting out of place. We're talking Tejano Twist here. And Tejano Twist has had a lot of close seconds, as I'll show you in the past performances. So maybe this extra half will give him the time needed to get up in this one. Number 5 is Hoist the Gold, trained by Dallas Stewart. The 5-year-old ran lights out in the Met Mile, but was no match for Natty Treasure. National Treasure, just a monster. He was passed by Post Time late in the race, who we're beginning to see can be a very special horse. So I think that's tough enough to take this group down. Post 6 is Close the Game Sugar, trained by Adam Rice. And we saw him come through down the stretch to catch Skelly. But like I said, Skelly lost at least 2 lengths at the beginning of the race, but not taking anything away from the effort. I just find it interesting that this is going to be an extra 100 yards, 110 yards, and Tejano Twist might be the one to catch this time now. But Irad is in the irons, and that's a big deal for any horse. So post number 7 is Angkor, 6-year-old from the Philip Bauer barn. He faded badly in the Aristides in his step up from that 100K N3X win where he defeated Close the Game Sugar. So it's going to be an interesting take. I actually went and rewatched that Aristides, and just after the quarter pole, he got upset for some reason. I couldn't tell if the horse, maybe they clipped heels or something. You can't really see, but he jerks his head up, then steadies back, and then from there he's just not running the same race. He just got completely thrown off his game after breaking first out of the post. So not really sure if you toss that race out. The previous race looked very strong when hit with him coming down the stretch, and he just tore into Close the Game Sugar and handily defeated him in that race. So that brings us to post 8, and that's Bango, trained by Greg Foley. 7-year-old ran off 5 straight triple-digit Brisnet speed figures, but then came in flat in his 24 debut, and then was given another 2 months off, so maybe fitness was an issue. So that's a question mark. He also turned 7, which I don't know if that's, sometimes that can be a downturn for a horse. So let's look at past performances and see if we can glean anything off of that. We're going to be looking for some really good early middle pace and just sustainability for 6.5 furlongs. A 99 speed rating is going to be the par. Anarchist obviously can run right at that. 99s in the last 2 before taking the spring and winter off. Rail Post is a much higher clip at the shorter distance. That's going to be an advantage. This one can get out early and try for the lead. It's possible, or maybe just try to save just a little bit of ground on the inside. I don't know if that's going to matter. Spankster is probably a little bit outclassed in this one. The speed figures just aren't quite there. I'm probably going to pass there. There was a pretty good race here over this, and you can see Just Might, the second place horse, wheeled back to win his next one, and Rivet is the third. So this is Rivet. This is what I wanted to look at. You see the 5 furlong turf, just no factor whatsoever, no kick. This one got pulled off the turf and ran first, second, and then faded third with Asmussen aboard. Same thing, really just up there, second, faded. This one he did get the win in this allowance company, but seems like better competition. But Christian Torres, I think, will help a lot. So returning to dirt, this is a nice little angle, and you're probably going to get some really juicy odds on that if you think Asmussen, if you just want to go trainer jockey combo and trust that Steve knows what he's doing. And that's a pretty good trust. This is Tail on a Twist. That's the one I want to show you. All these second place finishes, boom, 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 just closing and just not quite getting there. Grade 3 competition, very nice. These were all 6 furlongs too. So we're going 6.5 here. So it's going to be interesting. He just, I think, just wasn't quite, was bothered early on, just didn't get engaged in this grade 1. So I'll toss that. Every horse has a bad race. He was really flying late in this one. So I like his chances in this race. If say there's any kind of a pace meltdown or the track is so dry that these horses are spinning their wheels, and that can happen on a dry, warm day like it's going to be. So we'll see. Hopefully we'll get a little rain and maybe just get the track a little bit, firmer for these horses to gain their footing. And of course, here's the monster, Hoist the Gold. What can you say about him? I think he was a little bit off coming from overseas when he went over to Saudi Cup, and he ran all right, but he just was no match. He just didn't. He was among the leaders for a while, but just faded away. It was just a little too much to ask, I think, from him. But just wasn't quite himself, I think, coming back off of that in this one. Then the Met Mile ran pretty well, I think. So I think clearly the top choice in this one, and is probably going to handle this field at probably chalky odds, most likely. Then you have Close the Game Sugar, who ran the big 104. We saw the race, the Aristides. He ran down Skelly, then was beaten by Ancor before that. But they were both Ancor, and they both are on their third off the layoff, so they were both coming off the layoff, and Ancor was just a little bit more prepared, so to speak. So I don't know if, like I said, I noticed the problem Ancor had in this Aristides. So maybe he just had a bad episode right there at the quarter pole and just didn't recoup. And maybe he bounces back in a big way here at great odds. I don't know. Bango's the same. We don't really know about the fitness. I showed you all these straight up just monster races in here last summer. So interesting horse. Just really has not looked good in 2024 at all. Or in the one race didn't look good, I should say, but didn't finish well either. I thought he probably should have won this race at the Chalky, but got beat by Tejano Twist. So interesting enough to say the least. So I'm going to do finalized selections and we'll get out of here. So I am going to go with number 5, Hoist the Gold. Ran fast from gate to wire. I think he handles this field just fine. Can press or can lead, either one. I think Anarchist from the one post could try for it, get out there and run hard. I just don't know if he's going to be up for the first off the 10-month layoff. Sometimes horses need a race, especially sprinters. So this might be one of those races for Tejano Twist that gets that trip. Could be a surprise. I've pivoted all on Ancor. Like I said, I recall Cappers talking about him before the Aristides, like a sleeper. So I think he's a little bit of a sleeper here. Close the Game Sugar is obviously an up-and-comer at 4 years old. If he continues forward, he can win. But I think we're going on top of all those with Hoist the Gold. And you can play it however you want, exactas, trifectas. I might just single Hoist the Gold on top and then wheel him second. So 1, 2, and then put these 4 on top and then him underneath as part of a part wheel type of bet, just to hedge. All right, well, that'll do it. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel. Smash the like button. New videos almost daily. We'll have more coming out. We still got several more stakes races to cover this week for the big weekend at the Stephen Foster. So by subscribing, you won't miss out on anything. And set those notification bells too. Till next time, see you soon.